the side of us. You could kind of see the thing moving through the woods.
All I can remember is flipping the light on, and I see this creature, and I knew in my heart, I knew in my mind, the whole night, this isn't a man.
And then this thing walks across the road, takes a turn towards us, and then leaps over a guardrail.
Went to look forward, and there was a big black thing, is all I can call it.
Welcome to Squatch-D TV, exploring the Bigfoot mystery each week with your hosts, veteran researcher, author, and TV personality, the Squatch Detective, Steve Kulls, and from the Bigfoot Research Project of Kentucky, Chris Bennett. Sit back and buckle up as we bring you guests from around North America, discussing the Bigfoot phenomena, but not without a few laughs, too. Here are your hosts, Steve and Chris.
Oh, you're muted, Steve.
No,
there we go.
I am not muted.
Oh, okay. Well,
that must have been a delay.
The thing got you. Okay.
No,
that's a great way to start out the new year, man.
Well, everybody, welcome to today's show for January 3rd, 2021. I'm your host, your guide, the Squatch Detective Steve Kulls, and the guy underneath me, Mr. Chris Bennett. So we have quite the show for you tonight. And, just in the last few weeks, as people roll in, Chris and I have been talking about some of the, I think, the best thing possible is television, as far as the good and the bad. As far as the good, I should say. We saw the end of a great series, a great season of The Mandalorian.
Yes.
Which by now everybody knows Luke showed up to save the day. And we look at the new year with the season premiere of Cobra Kai, which was phenomenal. So I watched the first few episodes. I think they're releasing half a season. And I just watched the first half, and wow, really, really fun stuff.
And I'm going to have to check that out because I haven't seen it yet. So no spoilers.
I will not spoil that one. So let's do some roll call. Let's see who we got.
A lot of people in chat already.
Well, we got B. Hello, B. John Swan. Hello, John. Good to see you, brother.
Hi, John.
Of course, OT. Woohoo.
OT.
And
Quick Witty.
Tom says, guess no reason to watch that now.
Tom.
Well, come on. The show was 3 weeks ago, Tom. How are you, Tom? Good to see you. If you don't know the ending of The Mandalorian by now, by all the swell on social media, I don't know.
Yeah.
And quick witty, no, I haven't. Chris has.
I did.
I've been working on this week's show.
We'll take just a minute. We'll talk about that after we run through. Is that everybody that's here so far, John?
That's it as far as I can see right now.
Okay.
So we do have
everybody's still coming in. But anyway, for quick witty, I did look into this Yowie photo. And man, I tell you what, now this is just my personal opinion, and I read some other guys too.
I haven't seen anybody on Facebook comment yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering.
I hope the stream's up. This is all everybody on YouTube over here.
Let me make sure the stream is up.
Well, I did that. Oh, there's one. Hi, Ted. Thanks, Ted.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Ted. Hello. Yeah, I just quick checked it, and we are going on. If anybody's from Twitter, please say hello. If anybody's over there on Periscope via Twitter, say hello, and we'll gladly. So, Ted, welcome, my friend. So, but yeah.
Oh yeah, the Yowie photo. Right. I looked into that, and there's a lot of different opinions about it. Some people say, oh, it's Photoshop because it has some pixelated areas in it, and and that's true. It could be. But I tend to believe that the pixelated areas may be a result of where it has been saved from a higher resolution into a lower resolution. And once it does that, sometimes it doesn't save at the proper resolution. It reduces it. So that could be responsible for some pixelation. But I don't think it's – some people think it is a Photoshop deal, and that's fine. That's all well and fine. That's not my personal opinion of it. I think that it is pixelated because it has been saved in different formats, and the overall DPI has been reduced, but the resolution,
quickly, in looking at that very well could be, it could be overexposure and exposure of,
But I think what what it is, personally, this is my opinion. I think it's a case of pareidolia. You look at it, you see the shape. But the problem is, since it's either sitting on the log, some people say it's sitting on the log, some people say it's standing behind the log. Now, if it's standing behind the log, he's really short. Okay, he's really short. And if it's sitting on the log, his legs are like bean poles, dude. They're really skinny. So the only personally, I think if it was a creature, it would be standing behind the log, and it would be very short. But my personal opinion is that it is likely pareidolia. It's a bunch of background that in the leaves and stuff and bushes that's in that shape. And it looks like a Bigfoot. Looks like some sort of man-beast creature back there. But now that's my opinion. And everybody's got their own. There's going to be some people look at it and say, oh, yeah, that's a Yowie. Yeah, And that's perfectly fine. But it doesn't pass the sniff test to me.
That's what I'm looking for. Something I didn't have.
Yeah, it is overexposed too.
Yeah, this has been a very, very interesting day. Hey, Jerry, welcome to the show. Good to see you. The first you heard of H.A. Miller. Well, I'm Jerry. I'm actually very glad of that, and you'll see why. So I'm tipping my hand a little bit, but there is. You're gonna learn a few things hopefully tonight. And hey, and there's Reba. Good to see you, Reba. And I'm gonna tell you something. And I can't say this enough. I was in a little bit of a mad scramble today. I had to work. But Reba in the chat has been talking to me for the last few days, and she really did a deep dive herself of this. Now, the interesting thing is she, and hello, Lisa. Must be Walt.
Hi, Lisa.
Little Walt said hi. Hello, Lisa. Hey. And say hi to Big Walt, too, while you're there.
Big Walt, Little Walt. Hi, guys.
And we have Diane Trick is in the house.
Hey, Diane.
And Charlie Wonton. Hello, Charlie.
Welcome, Charlie. Jimmy's probably somewhere, too. Hey, Jimmy.
There's Doppelganger.
Yeah.
So, this sometimes is what, Bigfoot research is about. Reba had been doing her own stuff for much deeper than even I had done of this. But she went I put quite a bunch of hours in it this week, but she went a different route. And because she went a different route, she had this bunch of possibilities. But she saw this one guy, and she made an inquiry, and that really put it over the top. Hello, Tack. What's up, Mike?
Tack. Welcome.
Put it over the top, and then this is why collaboration in Bigfoot research is huge. When you have a couple of people that are Godzilla 2000, his mom's phone. Okay.
Gojira, welcome.
So we put our heads together, and lo and behold, she was kind of unsure, I think, of who certain people were, and I think we clarified a bunch of things. So when part of her work comes up, we're saving the big reveal for last as far as this presentation goes on. And what a journey this has been, because I have a history with the website that this popped into. This originated from the Bigfoot Ballyhoo blog. I think when was the first time it popped up? No, it was earlier than that. I believe it was around 2000. I want to say 11, 12, 13, somewhere in there. And what I have is the reposting of this.
I had read this there at one point, but I really put it out of my mind because.
But as we saw time go by, there was people buying into this.
Yes.
And looking at it. So we had to take now people are going to say, well, you went at it with a jaded view. No, I like any investigation, you go at it and evaluate the evidence. It doesn't matter if I have a jaded view or not. I have to go where the evidence points me to. Now
you can have expectations of what the outcome will be based upon prior investigations.
Right. Especially when let's look at it this way: you have this person that has an MO, modus operandi, because they've done this, and this, and this. Now, automatically, you're seeing this next claim, and now you have to look at it. Does this fit her MO? And all this other stuff. But people don't know Bigfoot Ballyhoo too much. So let's take a look at this in from minute one. And the first part in here is the Miller doc. I'm going to read some of it off to you. The original post from Sophia about Dr. H.A. Miller. And this was a repost Tuesday, September 22nd, 2015. Okay, it says, "Dear Linda, I am not clear as to the best way to handle a manuscript written by my grandmother's half-brother. He died in 2005. He had no children or relatives who lived except my grandmother." Huh? Well, you're a relative. Okay. Okay. Yeah. It was in the attic of my grandmother. It was in the attic of my grandmother since 2005. Amazing age of 92. My grandmother recently passed away, and my mother and I were, wait a minute, more relatives. Well, we had no relatives. Wait a minute.
Well, other than,
so wouldn't that make it his stepsister? I don't know.
Maybe stepdaughter, and then
my grandmother's half brother. Well, yeah, it would be like a great uncle. I don't know. Okay, but I wanted to share with anyone who might know what to do with it. English is a second language, so I look to you, Linda, to be the nicest person on the internet now. Don't think too much highly of yourself, do you? So I look to you, Linda, to be the nicest person on the internet now when it comes to Bigfoot. Then I'll send it to you. Yeah. Okay. Written original manuscript is by hand, and it has been neglected. So a friend transcribed it to write to you. I do not know what to do with the original, so we have sealed it by Ahura, whatever that means. We have sealed it, so you're not going to see the original. You have full permission to read the manuscript below titled, "The following was written by Dr. H.A. Miller on your YouTube blog. Sincerely, Sophia." The following was written by Dr. H.A. Miller, now deceased. Well, I hope he wrote it before he was deceased.
Yeah.
Okay, according to this, he was born in New England on December 12th, 1909. I was the first and only child of Christiana and Arthur Miller. My mother died in childbirth, and I was subsequently raised by my father until remarried to a French woman when I was 12 or 13 years of age. Kind of weird.
Okay.
So after their marriage, she bore a baby girl. Okay. I thought he didn't have family. I finished my high school education while living with my father, stepmother, and half sister. And then there's in parentheses, or not really parentheses, but like the square ones. I forget the actual
bracket.
Bracket. Thank you. In brackets, there's a thank you, Chris. It says there is an entire section here that I could not transcribe. Handwriting was illegible. And so it goes on to continue. I remained in New England for my undergraduate work. I thoroughly enjoyed the outdoors, the ocean, and forestry. My undergraduate studies focused on forestry and land management, while in my junior and senior, I was employed by the federal government. I worked at the Lockwood Farm, part of the Connecticut Agricultural Experiment Station. I learned about hybridization and agricultural. Say here's I learned about hybridization in agricultural and enjoyed the hard work, outdoor work in the cornfields. I began to find great interest in the scientific workings happening with the corn seed at the time. I completed an additional year in forestry science and graduated in 1930 with an AB.
First of all, wait a minute, Steve. In Kentucky, we have two different sections there that he's combining. One is forestry, and the other one is agriculture. Right. You would be usually, one or the other.
Right. Yep. So it says, I graduated in 1930 with an AB. I believe he means a BA because there's no such term as an AB.
No.
From Yale University. From Yale University in an MF Master of Forestry in 1931. Okay, so I labored at Lockwood Farm for a few years and gained great interest. I did hope to attend medical school and became a physician. I expeditiously applied for medical school and was accepted to Harvard and began my medical training in 1938. Graduating from Harvard Medical School, in the early 1940s, and I completed residency and a fellowship at Harvard and began a very specialized career at the time in orthopedic forensic surgery, Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston. Because of my previous work with the USDA, I was quickly employed by the federal government. My early years as a physician related mostly to providing medical support to various employee types, firefighters, etc., within the USDA/Forest Service. I also became the forensic expert and anatomist for the USDA and was called to examine most major accidental deaths of USDA and Forestry Service servicemen. Due to my interest in genetics and early experiences in agricultural hybridization, I was assigned to scientific teams which investigated the physical nature of genetics. Our early experiments determined that DNA is the component of the chromosomes where genetics should be studied. Oh, that was
dude.
Yeah. This, along with the efforts of several scientists, led to the discovery of the double helix structure in the early 1950s. So he's trying to interdict himself with the word
into the discovery of DNA.
The discovery of DNA. So to make this long story short, I'm going to speed it up a little bit. It was at this time that several of our team members were called to the Bandera County, Texas, where the forestry biologists assigned to the Edwards Plateau reported the dead bodies of strange type of human. The first reports I received were speculating that they were feral humans from the local Comanche Indian tribes. What? This is 1950, not 1850. The bodies were supposedly found in or around one of the massive caves within the Edwards Plateau area. When I arrived in Texas, I was surprised to find 3 bodies, 1 adult female, 2 female juveniles. I examined as I typically would any human subject, but to my dismay, one of these creatures still seemed to be alive. I became quite upset with the local scientists, but they reassured me. They confirmed that all 3 were deceased. After further investigation, I found that these creatures were not human. They, in fact, had a remarkably rapid reparative process, hence the reason one of the creatures seemed dead, but in fact was regenerating to a degree. Unfortunately, the restorative abilities of the creature were not enough to keep it alive. They were massive in size and distinctly a new primate species unknown to science at that time. I spent years studying these creatures, which are scientifically known as Cebittalidae, whatever the hell that is, confirming that they were most certainly not human. And actually, Cebittalidae, whatever that flipping Cebittalidae, which are scientifically known as Cebittalidae, confirming that they were most certainly not human. So, Cebittalidae are actually lower monkeys.
Yeah. Can you put the document on the screen, Steve, or are you having to read it on the other one?
I'm reading on the other one.
Okay. Okay.
I don't want to screw the PowerPoint up. So
yeah, we don't want to do that.
So anyway, it goes in. He goes, Cebittalidae found in the San Antonio, Texas area are very much like a howl, very much howl like a howler monkey. And it goes on. He goes, I found these great deal of similarity between these Bigfoot creatures and the howler monkey. That was until 1962. Okay. In late 1962, early 63, I was notified of a large human-like creature by the Redding Forest Service folks in California. I arranged for transport of the body to my primary location in Colorado. It was reported to me that the body was found under a large tree that had been violently struck by lightning and blown to the ground. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's not blown to the ground if it's struck by lightning, is it?
Right. Yeah.
It's blown to the ground if there's wind.
Yeah.
And violently struck by lightning? Every lightning strike is violent as far as I know. Oh, it was just a mild lightning strike. You know.
Yeah. It's fine.
It was all right. Okay, so we can stop reading into this right then and there. Now we're going to get into our show here. So the H.A. Miller doc. So let's start breaking all what we've heard so far. I completed an additional year in forestry science and graduated in 1930 with an AB from Yale University. Unfortunately, if one if one goes to the Yale website and actually reads about the Yale Forestry School program, which was founded in the early 1900s by Gifford Pinchot, it was founded in 1900, and there was no BA program, there was no AB program. It was a postgraduate school, so it only offered a master's in forestry. It couldn't offer a BA in forestry. So right there's a problem with what he's saying. Yeah. And as we see, here's the 1930 picture of H.A. Miller in the picture, School of Forestry. So yeah, so far, okay, it kind of looks good, but there's a little disconcerting information about this. There was no BA program for forestry. It was a postgraduate school for masters. So that so much was true. Now here we go with graduating from Harvard Medical School. Harvard in the 1940s, and I completed the residency and fellowship at Harvard Medical School, yada. Well, we checked the Alumni Association for any H.A. Millers, and we ran the name Miller. And we had 2 that had passed away, Richard C. Miller and a Harry H. Miller. Neither one is H.A. Miller. Right. So as far as the Alumni Association, there was no H.A. Miller that ever graduated from and died from Harvard Medical School.
Right.
Notice the intentional vagueness of the graduation date, whereas the one with the picture, we had dates, 1930, 1931. Yeah.
Right. In the early 1940s, you know, that's building up the mystery right there. Why did you want to tell us you graduated in 1944?
Why is it not concise? And notice the medical school. Now, this is actually copy and pasted right directly from the document. Medical school, Harvard Medical School, was not capitalized. Just Harvard Medical School wasn't capitalized. And Harvard Medical School is its own entity, so it should be capitalized. So, you know, the language is not being necessarily, to me, looking at this, especially reading some of the document here, it's not looking like it's written by somebody that is very scientifically inclined. And then he said he began a very specialized career at the time in orthopedic forensic surgery. The term orthopedic forensic surgery is a made-up term. There is orthopedic forensics, but there is no orthopedic forensic surgery. So what I did was I Googled the word orthopedic forensic surgery, and it comes back to the Miller Doc and nowhere else. Yeah. And the only time, according to the internet, this term is used is on the Miller document.
He was the first one.
First.
Okay.
So that is very interesting. So yeah, that's a big problem right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the middle of all this, there is a mystery man that interdicts himself on July 21st, 2013, names himself KS.
KS.
And he says, I wish to make citing part of your record of Sasquatch experiences. You have given me courage. It was a relief to see more and more from the USFS posting the truth, talking about the Miller Doc, obviously, because this is where it was posted in. Yeah. So he comes in there. He goes, we were given a reference card, which included the accepted scientific taxa accepted by the United States Forestry Service. I kept it to this day. Kingdom, Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, order primates, family, you can read it, genus, you can read that too. But if you look at the real classification system, it's missing. You know, it has the same as us. There's no subphylum. Like there should be a subphylum Vertebrata. That means we have vertebrate. They should have a subclass Theria, infraclass Eutheria, order primates, and then suborder goes to, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But okay, you have all this information. Where's the suborder? Where's the genus? Oh, the genus is there. So it makes no sense. Some of this, what's going on?
It's kind of like somebody is trying to write something formal, but they're really not sure exactly how to go about it.
Right. Yeah, none of these make, like family and genius, make no sense at all in this. So we look at some of the keywords they're using, like in this thing. He goes on to write about this being, you know, he's giving it, you know,
Civicus.
That C, the Sebes, I'll call them just to pronounce the C, Nerturos pacificus. And if you look at Nertura in Wikipedia, it's from the Greek word Nerteros, meaning low down. Common names include pincushion, coral bread, or bead plant. Okay,
so coral bead. Yeah.
But that's very interesting because that's an agricultural definition, not an animal definition. Pacificus. There is no such Latin word. There is no Pacificus in the scientific language. Pacificus was a disciple of St. Francis of Assisi. So Pacificus doesn't. But what they're trying to make it sound like Pacific, the Pacific Ocean, Pacificus.
Right. They want to relate that to the Pacific coastline.
That would be Pacifica, not Pacificus.
Yeah.
Arctos.
See what they're trying to do.
Arctos. Arctos was a centaur who fought Lapith spearmen. It also refers to bears in Greek. Again, trying to sound, but the actual, if they mean Arctic, the actual word is Arcticus. See, Latin is a very tricky language because the way English is a tricky language, because English was derived from Latin. Pacific.
Believe it or not, I actually knew that Arctos was a centaur. For some reason, I knew that. I don't know why.
And it's funny because if you think about it, Linda Newton Perry's husband writes about a lot of Norse mythology. So here's some other mythology, Greek mythology.
Yeah, here it is. Honey, I need a word kind of like sounds scientific and means the Pacific coast. Oh, Pacific. Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you.
And folks, I got to say, we have saved in this presentation, we have saved the best for last. The most condemning of this whole thing will be shown last. So hold on to your hats. We're getting there. We have a lot more to go, though. So Somphos and Texarkana are just made up. They don't exist anywhere. So KS gives us the Forest Service quick reference card. And of course, it says keep headlights, taillights, mirrors, and all windows clean and clear. Notice there's no period after that. Slow down and try to avoid the animal. If encountering O.NP, it is safer to hit the animal rather than to drive off the shoulder and risk a head-on collision. The reference was that document down there, 6709.11-99-1. So, what do you think I did? Now he says the relevant pages are missing. Well, the relevant pages weren't missing at all. They were all there. I got the whole entire document, front to cover. And there is 1018 where it was copy and pasted out of. Yeah. Keep taillights, headlights, mirrors, all clean and clear. When window conditions visible, blah, 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 blah. Turn on your headlights. That's missing. So what happened is they missed the last when conditions limit visibility. They forgot that. Maybe they got distracted. Maybe they not, whatever.
Well, see, there's also, they didn't want you to know they copied and pasted or something. So they took out part of the,
right.
Took out a period.
And quick way to
deleted.
All I have to say is it probably is. That doesn't mean that particular incident happened. Right. Anybody, if you know that, you could write a story about this too. So if you know there's sightings that are going on there, so does somebody else. Uh-oh. Steve, please don't show me the pics of me on Boxing Day. I eventually found my clothes, and I swear I don't know who to get back.
Oh, Lord.
But if you notice, always maintain control of the vehicle. For example, if unexpected wildlife or domestic livestock are encountered, slow down and try to avoid the animal. Generally, it is safer to hit the animal rather than drive off the shoulder of the road or cross the center line and risk a head-on collision. Now you see where this has been taken from.
Yeah.
So in essence, because of the missing punctuation, because of the lack of some words there, this person just made this stuff up using the reference card. There is no evidence whatsoever. Show us the card. If, he says, "Oh, I remember it to this day," meaning you don't have it. If it's online, So of course, the whole thing is I'll change it and then I'll say, of course, the relevant pages are missing.
Right.
Tell me another one. Now we come to the jumping of the shark. We heard earlier from Dr. Miller in late 1962, early 63. I was notified of a large human-like creature by the Redding Forest Service folks in California. Okay. So in 1962, Columbus Day animal of 1962, Jerry Luston's experience with the 1962 creature was found. Hello, I'm Jerry Luston, and I was among the guys who found the giant in November of 1962. Bill Emery, remember that name, folks, Bill Emery. Bill Emery has asked me to write a short comment on this site. I have never seen in my life, so bear with me. Wrong. I think that's the wrong.
You're supposed to take off your clothes. You got to get naked together while you're reading this.
Yeah, of course. I should have realized that. Bear with me. It was in the early hours of November 9th when me and several other men were working the Dew Ridge area, cleaning wind area. If memory serves me, it was 8:30 a.m. or so when we saw what we thought was a dead bear under an old growth tree on Dew. As we approached the bear, complained to us it was not a bear. The animal was something in between ape and human in looks only, larger than anything I've ever seen or before or since. The animal was laying under a tree, face down and dead. We all looked at it, and to our surprise, had hands and feet, not paws. It was covered in a short crop of black hair, and obviously not anything ever seen by us before. We needed a Forest Serviceman to come to the site right away and look at it because we were not to remove any fatalities from wind and storm damaged trees without Forest Servicemen being on site. We had well understood the protocol to go through the case, and we came across a car with people in it under a tree. Ranger Guy Adams from Cave Junction arrived and took photos from both sides of the tree. Then more people came up to do the same. As the site filled with Forest Service and unknown people, we were directed to cut a 10 section out above the creature for removal. It was after we removed the tree of the animal that they got branch poles out and turned the animal over onto its back. The animal's eyes were open, and dried blood was all over the mouth and ears of the animal. The eyes were black in color. Teeth were jagged and yellowish. It had breast on it like a female, only dropped and small in shape. I think it meant drooped. It was female, of course. You already said that. Everybody was told to stay away from the animal at this point. By noon, a truck had showed up, and they used a block and tackle to pick the animal up and swing it onto the back of the flatbed. At that point, the bigwig. Yeah, it's amazing how these words. I know these words from other. The bigwig from Medford came, and they told us to leave that road and go to Glary Creek, some 5 miles away, to work for the rest of the week. They started acting like squirrels to us, many nervous and snappy. It was 3 days later when Guy told us that the animal was an ape that had escaped from a home in O'Brien. What?
Yeah.
We knew because who keeps an 8-foot ape for a pet? We knew when we uncovered the animal, it was no ape. We didn't know about Bigfoot then, but thought it was some kind. You didn't know about Bigfoot back then? Wait. You're in Oregon, right?
Yeah.
And you haven't heard anything. Jerry Crew.
Was that 57?
That was in 58.
58, yeah.
And, at that time, that whole area was being. And Renee DeHinden, Roger Patterson, and eventually Peter Byrne. Yeah, you don't know nothing about Bigfoot in 1962?
Yeah.
For some time after, many stories came out on the animal as to what it was. My brother-in-law took 3 pictures of it, and I hope to give copies to Emery if Stan can locate them. So, and then there's
Bill Emery.
Yeah,
you're going to give copies to Bill Emery, right?
Okay. To Bill Emery. And then you have a picture of right there, Lauren Staton and there's Jerry, the guy who told the story. There's a picture of them 1960, according to the website right here. And then Linda's comment, "Thank you, Jerry. How exciting that day must have been." Right? Wasn't it? All right.
I like that. Man.
First, let's talk about Bill Emery. Bill Emery is the guy over here on left. And this is Linda's site.
That's right. He's real because I see a picture of him on her site.
Emery Saxton Parchell team, Bigfoot investigators. There they are. And there was the founder of the group, Dale Saxton.
Yeah.
Again, hello, I'm Jerry Luston. And among the guys who found the giant creature in November, Bill Emery has asked me to write a short comment on this site. Well, Bill Emery is really Fort Worth, Texas resident Vince Chastain. How do I know this? We also found him the same time we found member number 2 of the ESP team, Hank Parchell, who is really Gene Tilley. Now, we found Gene Tilley, and he confirmed the identity of Vince Chastain, being shown the picture that came from Linda Newton Perry's site, Bigfoot Valley Who. Mm-hmm. So there is actually, on this side right here, is actually a candid picture our investigator took of Gene Tilley. Yep, while he was talking. And this was circa 2011. And the guys who did that were part of the Texla Bigfoot research group. Yeah. The Bigfoot research group. And they went down there. Myself and Autumn Williams, who were working on this at the time, and they went on, Autumn's behalf and my behalf, and they got this information. They even got we actually got a video clip that even says Vince Chastain right there, Vincent Chastain, right, and there he is there, just without his cowboy hat. Yep, he's bald as
what, man? You mean she lied? She made these people up, really?
Oh, yep. I sure did get right. Chris can attest.
Yeah, we should have a contest.
No, Chris can attest. I can do some really damn good imitation.
Yeah.
One of my favorite is Fred Sanford. Lamont, you big dummy. And Reagan. Well, last night, me and Nancy. Anyway, so we know Bill Emery doesn't exist. But this, because we found the real picture of Lauren Statton and Jerry Lester. It was actually found on a Photobase page.
Yeah. So on the left is really Henry Klossner
and Buzzy Franklin.
And Buzzy Franklin on the right.
On the right.
Well, how come on her picture page? How come on her page she says his name is Lauren Statton and Jerry Luston?
Maybe it's Lauren Staten.
Staten, okay.
I don't know. I call him Staten.
And to Jeremy, maybe. I don't know.
Right. And of course,
thank you, Jerry. How exciting that day.
Mrs. Sparkle says that you're all wrong. I am not doing the rest of the show as Mrs. Sparkles. But as you can see, this was actually taken in 1975 in Leavenworth, Wilkerson, Washington, Leavenworth, Washington.
No, that can't be right because Linda Newton Perry says 1960, dude.
Huh?
That can't be right, Steve. Somebody's lying.
Well, considering this was loaded onto Photobase, I think in 2009.
Yeah.
I think,
You don't mean she was just shopping through Photobase looking for old pictures to put on her website, do you?
I don't know, because look, we have the picture here in the index card of which is this, right?
Right.
But we also have this picture, which is a reverse with a wash of this site commemorated to the late Dale Saxton. And if you look, it's a commercial fisherman with a gleam taken in Iwaco, Washington, or Ilwaco, Washington.
Yeah.
Again, this is a salmon, because you can see the salmon charter behind him.
Yep.
And you very clearly see it says salmon in there. If you take
he's on a boat.
So here we have running another hoax about the ESP team, and her site's dedicated to this guy, when actuality it's a fake. This is a fake. Yeah, you're starting to see the picture now. And then the funny thing is that after we debunked Bill Emery, we see the pre-debunked Bill Emery, and now she uses this picture. We look at this picture, and then we look at the pre-debunked Hank Parchell, and we look at this picture. So y'all following me? Is that when we found the picture of these guys, this was the Photobase index page it led back to. And it just so happened another one of her hoaxes was there as well. So she had used this page for more than one picture at different times. So okay, some other indicators of the source. And of course, the only source of this is Bigfoot Ballyhoo. Here, this is December 1st, 2009. This is how far back her hoaxes go. Be careful if you should go looking for Bigfoot. And it says, Dale Saxton says, here are some pictures taken from my trip to Roman Nose. I would not want anybody getting stranded up there. Do take plenty of gas and drive carefully. Okay, let your picture.
Good advice. Yeah.
Right. If you look very closely, these pictures over here are from Photobase again. Or Photobug at the time. Another film site. As you can see, this picture is this picture, and this picture is this picture, and her copyrights are smudged out, whereas the copyrights are clear on these.
Yeah,
I got them from the photo, and that's the actual source of the original pictures, and they were taken in 2006. I'm sorry, 2006 for the one on the bottom, 2007 for the one. And then you look, and she's trying to claim that this is 2009, December 1st, 2009. So again, more Dale is a fake. How about this picture? Continuing on with Dale, this was posted February 4th, 2010. Dale Saxton and crew on Burnt Mountain, 1977. In actuality, this was a picture sniped off of this, which was posted on 11/18/2009. Again, for this picture. And of course, it goes on to name all the loggers. Dale Saxton was not one of them. You know, it says we now know the identity of all of them. Furthest left is Ernie Grunder, Paul Eck, Clifford West, Julio Montagne. The last bottom row is Roy Armstrong. On top of the tractor is Agapit Rojo. So they are all the guys that were there, have been identified by the Sierra Logging Museum, posted, and then you see her little.
Where's Dale Saxton? How come they didn't say Dale Saxton, Steve?
Another boo-boo. How about the Shrew Lake gate? And, you know, here's this. So, Linda, somebody wrote on your blog there was never a gate at Shrew Lake. In other words, people were at the time fighting her, saying, well, listen, you're saying there's a gate at Shrew Lake. You're saying there's a Bigfoot sighting there. And because of the Bigfoot sighting, the government came down and put a gate there. What happens is somebody was arguing with her about there being a gate, so she posts this picture, and it's kind of a blurry picture now, but it says keep out, you know, blah blah blah, and it says Shrew Lake right here, SRU Lake here. You can see the number on the box and the smudge. But then Google searching that, we came to another picture, and this was actually a gate that was left open. Again, missing is Shrew Lake and any of the other keep out or any of that stuff.
Man.
Yeah, you can see because there's the chip paint on the post there. You can see this has been completely photoshopped over.
Yes, that is Photoshop job.
Right, but this is still there. This is still there, but the front has been photoshopped.
Why didn't they put on the one they photoshopped? Why didn't they should have put keep out killer Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Killer big feet, maybe. Bigfoots.
So right. So this is another killer. So here is somebody, you know, all of a sudden you have guest blogger MI. You know, guest blogger KS. Here comes another one. You know, another guest that just has an initial or a first name, interdicting in that's being knocked down with some supportive documentation, which is ballyhoo, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
And the sad thing about this is a picture of a gate. An Asian man was out with his family. He had wandered into that area, and he ended up. Reason why that picture was on the web at the time. So then there was the footprint that was sniped off of his YouTube page. And as you can see on the footprints near Shrew Lake, Oregon, again, here she is. And again, we have the mystery guest coming in. This was taken by our road inspector. It was found on newly repaired slide on 3348. You can use the photo only, but not my name. And you see this, and you see the Photoshop with, 12, 26, 2010, 19-inch track near Shrew Lake. When in actuality, this was posted in 2008, I believe, on Tim Fasano's YouTube page. And here is the actual footprint. So she ended up catching a little heat from Tim for that, too. Actually, what she told Tim was, somebody sent that to me and I just posted it. Yeah, okay. There's a lot of that going around.
Well, yeah, you can tell that the soil is kind of sandy there, and if it was from Shrew Lake, it would be kind of like volcanic soil too. So that's a big giveaway. Well, not from that area.
Well, Chris Bennett, but this is near the beach of the lake.
Oh, yeah, okay. Must have been down on the beach. Huh?
So finally, we have this one. going over history. And there's other little more minor examples I can show, but I think we're getting kind of the gist of what the source material of Bigfoot Ballyhoo is. This is October 1st, 2010, which he was really doing a lot of pushes then. And again, here's a photo sent to me today from Bill Emery, who we know has been debunked. And it was a trail cam picture, and you can see on it, it's been photoshopped. It's been grained a little bit, just like the Dale Saxton photo, and reversed from the original, just like the Dale Saxton photo.
Yeah.
And it says ESP property, but actually it's a screen cap from the movie Sasquatch, The Legend of Bigfoot from 1976.
Yes.
And the other coincidences to this, and this is a really funny thing, is that they call the Bigfoot Big Clyde, but at the fort, they have a bull there called Bake, which is kind of one coincidence. But the real big coincidence is the phony member of the ESP team, Hank Parchell, the member of the ESP team. There's actually a Hank Parchell character in the 1976 movie.
Yes,
you're off by just by a word, by basically a
one letter.
Well, letter, right? So now
actually, that was a great movie, man. I went to the theater and watched that when I was a kid. I remember watching that. It was a good movie.
Yep. So there you have that one. So what have we got so far? The academic credentials seem inconsistent in which Yale gave out degrees, as there was no AB or BA program, only a master's program. Terms thought to be Latin in many instances were made up or classified wrongly. The KS Mystery Man shows that the NFS document was lifted from an actual NF document and changed to fit the narrative. Miller goes on about the 1962 creature, and reveal shows that the story behind it was a hoax, the Lustin Franklin pick. Therefore, the Miller doc has an exposed hoax within it. Bigfoot Ballyhoo, the source of the Miller doc, has been time and time again promoting hoaxes or coming up with these blatant lies. We haven't even talked about when she first came out on the scene in 2009 about trying to claim that people were getting their driver's licenses suspended because they were reporting Bigfoot. And that caused a kerfuffle.
Yeah.
So
well, there were some things too that didn't smell right, though, about the whole story, Steve, about why this guy who was Forestry Service.
Well, he said he was a doctor because he was a doctor.
Well, yeah,
that's the narrative. But hold on,
okay.
We're getting to that.
Okay,
and I want to thank the info original sources or others, or have others expose them. No, those pictures, the Lustin pictures, the Buzzy Franklin stuff, the Dale Saxton, the Bill Emery pics. Actually, Autumn Williams found Bill Emery, and then we started scoping. I found Hank Parchell, and then it was Autumn Williams and I were working very closely in 2010, 2011, debunking a lot of her earlier stuff about the ESP team. Somebody found the capture from Sasquatch, The Legend of Bigfoot. I don't know who that was. But I think I'm the first one really to archive all of these. I found the Through Lake Gate. I found the footprint, the Tim Fasano footprint, because I got wise.
Yeah, I think my internet's cutting out, Steve, or yours is one.
I think it's yours, or we might have had just a little burp.
Maybe. Sorry, folks.
So anyway, I think that's from that. But this stuff here, we can thank Reba Campbell out there in the chat for finding finding a lot of this source material coming up now. And with discussions with her, we've kind of put a definite spin on who H.A. Miller was and who he was not. Okay, so the real H.A. Miller was actually Howard A. Miller. And the source of the new pics come from the Simpson College alumni office. Howard Miller graduated with a degree in biology from Simpson College in Indiana. He graduated in 29, it appears, and he went on to Yale. And as you can see, all these pictures here, and here. This is the H.A. Miller doc picture right here. And there he is there he is there he is there. There he is there in the graduating class for biology. This is his biology, National Honorary Biology Fraternity.
Right.
So I'm getting ahead of myself. So you have all this going on here. So how do we know that this is the right H.A. Miller? Well, it certainly does look like him, but let's put this to rest. Because H.A. Miller wrote a book. He wrote several books, numerous books, all on forestry, all on fauna, on fungi and stuff like that. Nothing about medicine. The interesting thing here is that he doesn't call himself Dr. Howard A. Miller. Not in his book title, not in the back of it. Howard A. Miller received a BA from biology from Simpson College and completed graduate work in the School of Forestry at Yale. Bingo. There he is. Mm-hmm. Yes, and Mr. Miller did serve in various positions at the National Wildlife Refuge Program in Arkansas, which is not a big deal because that's where their number one place is. White River National, that's their big place. It says after seeing active duty during World War II, Mr. Miller returned to civilian duty in the Fish and Wildlife Sergeant as a forester in the United States Forestry Service.
Right. Well, this makes perfect sense. I mean, you got a guy that graduates with a degree in biology, and then he has some. He goes on to Yale and gets some forestry, and now he's writing books about oaks of North America and
fungi. This is just the one book that we could get that description on. Now there's no mention of an MD. He's not addressed as Dr. Howard A. Miller. He was in World War II and returned to work for Fish and Wildlife Service, according to the Miller Doc. Whoops. According to the Miller Doc. I'm going to go back here. What did it say about the Miller Doc? Does anybody remember? It says, here we go. I began my medical training in 1938 and graduated in the early 1940s. You couldn't have, buddy. You were in World War II. You were in World War II. And then after you got done with the service, you went right into the Fish and Wildlife Service. There is no, the MD is a fake. It's a fake.
Yeah.
He was never an MD. You can tell by his books. He never addresses himself as Dr. Howard Miller. In his biography, he never mentions going to medical school.
Right.
And we know it's him because there's his pictures.
Somebody made that up.
Simpson College and then over to Yale. That's our boy. Bingo.
Yeah.
Great job, Reba. Reba had a few other suspects, but as soon as I saw this, I knew this was the one. So yes, that is H.A. Miller, folks. 1 hour it took to destroy the H.A. Miller doc because without him being a doctor, he has lied about everything else.
Somebody had.
Yeah. He lied about, the writer of this document lied about Miller being employed, to providing medical support. He lied about becoming a forensic expert in anatomists for the USDA. Right. He wasn't. He wasn't.
Well, it would make more sense. Okay, he
wasn't involved in the DNA and genetics.
Yes,
maybe of plants, but definitely not.
He would have had to been, the degree in biology goes along with it partially, and the Forestry Service, that's great. But in order to be like cutting up animals and running as a pathologist, he would have had, at the very least, he would have had to have some DVM.
And let's not forget
the doctor of veterinary medicine, for animals.
Yeah. And let's not forget the orthopedic forensic surgery. There is no such thing as orthopedic forensic surgery. And I knew that too, because anything forensic is after it's being pretty much dead.
Right.
You do forensics on stuff that's left behind. You don't do forensics on things that are living. Surgery you do on the living.
Yes.
Autopsies and necropsies. And that's the other thing, folks.
Yeah.
He mentioned he did autopsies on the creatures. In actuality, because it's not a human being, it would be considered a necropsy. That's another big point there that just came to me.
Yep.
So there he is, H.A. Miller. Definitely not a doctor by his own biography. He was a forester, worked for so he would have no reason to be in. And he was a plant guy because he's written books on oaks of North America, fungi, a lot of books on trees and plant life. The guy was into plants.
Yeah.
Forests.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Wonder how or why LMP would pull his name out. Probably because she saw that picture and she thought a good story behind it, and she could make a good story up behind it. I believe she may have even seen his book a bit, read into his book, and decided to change the narrative a little bit. Never expecting that any of us, just like the Jerry Lustin, Lauren Stanton picture, just like the Dale Saxton picture, just like the Bill Emery picture, just like the Hank Parchell picture, just like the Shrew Lakegate picture, she would never expect us to find any of these things, but we do, because that's, as investigators and researchers, what we do. And this was done without anything. It all went where the evidence laid. And you cannot argue the fact that the evidence is rock solid. This is not an opinion. This is fact. This is fact that these pictures existed before, and this is fact that she used these pictures with different names after the fact, or different narratives, as in the case of H.A. Miller, who was never a doctor.
Right.
So if you look at it, ballyhoo definition is extravagant publicity or fuss. That's her. Fake. Miller doc, fake. How many people can believe this document is real now, knowing all of this stuff came off the site being fake? And it's not just fake on supposition. It's fake using photographic evidence. It's fake. You cannot. And the other thing,
I haven't been over to her site in quite a while, but does she list on there anywhere that this site is for entertainment purposes only?
No.
Okay, well, shit. Sorry. So she's peddling this as actual real stuff.
Look at and it's also a site of broken promises, because in 2011 she posted that my promise. If the ESP team pictures are a hoax, I promise you this blog will immediately shut down. I am positive the pictures exist.
Well, yeah, the pictures exist. They're just not who you say they are. Well, I mean, it's been proven that there was a hoax, but she didn't shut down the website or the blog.
That's right. And Reba says the book I bought from Happy Valley Bigfoot Bookstore was truly hoping it would verify, but it just verified his bio, which I could confirm on public records, ancestry type sites.
Yeah,
absolutely correct. In fact, I had where's my phone? Right in front of me. The route I was pulling up because I didn't have a chance, because literally I was scurrying to get some of this new info out there. But what I'm looking at right here on my phone before I knock everything over, I don't know if anybody can see this, but it's actually kind of. What it is a marriage certificate from the Iowa State Department of Health, and it is the Howard A. Miller, as seen there. Marriage certificate dated December 31st, 1928. Groom Howard A. Miller. Place of residence, right now, New Haven, Connecticut. Bing, 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 bing.
Oh.
Guess where New Haven, Connecticut? Guess where Yale is? New Haven, Connecticut. Right? Right? Occupation, student.
Oh.
Let's see. Does it have his birth date on there? Age, next birthday, 23. So he is actually 22 at the time.
That's a good tie-in.
Yep. So 22 years of age in 1928. That would have made him born in 1906. And what does the document say? I was born on December 12th, 1909. And wrong. And he was married. His father's name was an E.L. Miller. His mother's name was Vieira Lauer. Vieira Lauer. Groom's first marriage. Groom's full name of bride, Irma Lou Edwards. Place of residence, Sherman City, Iowa. Age 22. So, again,
Irma.
Reba dead on with this record. There he is, New Haven, Connecticut, the home of Yale.
Yeah.
We know Harvard is actually in Boston, so he ain't living in New Haven, Connecticut, going to Harvard.
Yeah.
So we know that. And by the way, Harvard is near the harbor.
But don't park your car.
Don't park your car.
Park the car.
Yeah. So this guy was born in 1906, and the parents are wrong. The date of birth is wrong. It's just made up BS, and we know this because we found, or actually, Reba found, and I just kind of boosted her confidence a little bit about it. She found the real H.A. Miller.
Well, I read through this. It's been years ago on her site, and I'm like, okay, turn the page. And I never really thought any much more about it after that. But you know how kind of old things are coming back now for some reason. And the new people that get into the Bigfoot have never heard this before, and they're like, oh my gosh, here's this H.A. Miller thing. This is a deal. This is the deal. And
so let me, Reba's posting some comments here. If there's no element of truth of the story of the Bigfoot findings, is why I wanted to confirm. Shame on someone who wastes our time. Amen. Yeah. But you know what? To me, the closing of a case is an awesome thing, regardless of anything. And then Reba also writes, she plans to do a full story on him later, which with actual docs, which would show the story given LNP is not accurate. I think that's a fitting tribute to a guy who's been much maligned in the Bigfoot world.
Right.
And I appreciate that, Reba. So with that in mind, we'll take any questions here, but we're going to do one more thing. Chris, you know what the next one is. That's right. End of this presentation.
Oh, God.
And yep, that's right. We have one right here, and we're going to smack that right on our lips. Just as a celebration of nailing.
Twisted Tea, yes.
And that cheers is to you, Reba. And thank you, Quick Witty. I appreciate that too.
That is a hilarious meme.
We need to quit. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. See, it's amazing. That's why I'm so glad I announced this show early. Because if I announced the show early, I don't think Reba would have ever saw that. Mm-hmm. And I don't think she would have ever connected.
Well, it's great too when two researchers come together and the information fits. It locks together like pieces of a puzzle, and that's really great.
Yeah, and exactly, and that's why we need more collaboration. Even though, originally, and I really think that Reba was really hoping that this was real, and I don't blame her. And we all hope that evidence is real. Unfortunately, my history with Linda, I knew I had a good suspicion where this was going to end, but you still have to go through the motion. Is there really an H.A. Miller? Well, let's find him.
Yeah.
If it fits, I can't lie about that, right? If it fits. Some of the stuff fits. I think she read some of his biography.
Right.
But
for some of the stuff that's an investigation, I think, the Bigfooters need to work together. Researchers need to work together. Now, and it's kind of difficult for some things because most Bigfoot researchers are very secretive. They don't want to give up all their information because, hey, dude, that's their book.
Yeah, much credit, and absolutely right, Jerry. Much credit to Reba. Reba was like, "Hey, this is what I've got. Yeah. Let me send it to you, and see if it matches up with you got." She was very open and stuff like that. And of course, I'm running around working during the week, so I'm trying to explain to her on text. Well, this is what I've dealt with. You'll see what I have so far on Monday, or on Sunday rather. And then, this stuff came out. Wait, whoa. You found them. You found them.
Wonderful.
Rock solid research. And you think about a criminal investigation, there are many parts of it. And when you have a researcher like a Reba out there, she's almost like the forensic person, the person getting down the DNA or the fingerprints or, the ballistics or something like that. She's grabbing that stuff and she hands it over to a detective who's putting the whole case together, and and there we have that aha moment. So it's a team effort. So, this was looking good without it, but it just put it over the top and sealed it with Reba's information, and that wouldn't have been available. So it's just totally amazing stuff. So thank you, Reba, for that information, and it will become part of the record. And so are you for giving that out. Yep, and it's true. She went into storage and got the docs out after I saw your ad. I was frustrated, and some confirmation to it. It is really a great story. How, it's a story, but there are stories that are true. It's a true story. This is a great true story of how this case got solved. It got solved by a couple of people on different sciences. I was looking at more towards a computer forensic side. She was looking at more towards an ancestry side. One thing I was trying to do to locate HA was looking at newspapers.com, and I was looking at hundreds of newspaper articles, just trying. And I came across an H.A. Miller from Iowa, and I thought, well, maybe it's him. He's kind of interested in in plants and stuff like that. I'm scratching my head. Maybe it's him. And then I kind of was leading towards this other guy because I was kind of far out to go to Yale and stuff. But it turns out it was him. And Reba was the one that said, hey, this is one of my carrier. This is him. This is him. As soon as I saw the picture, I was like, that's him. So really, really fun time doing this. When you seal a deal on that. And I just wonder what good old LMP is going to have to say next about this, because I'm going to tell you right now, this is going eventually going to be transferred to the web, and it's going to. It's all lies. It's all right.
Steve Kulls, guys, is out to get me. It's all lies. I'm telling you the truth.
You're just telling nasty lies about me. Yeah. I was set up. I only posted what was sent to me.
Yes.
People are posting. Well, if that's the case, shut it down, because you haven't been accurate about anything people are sending. But you know what? You'll back them up 100% until you're proven otherwise.
Boy. And then change the pictures after the fact.
Well, OT, that's the 26 that are live right now on YouTube. It doesn't matter the right now the folks we have on Twitter or the folks we have on Facebook either.
Yeah.
And in the replay, and tomorrow when the audio cast goes out to iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, and Anchor FM. So
H.A. Miller has been laid to rest.
Yeah. And then, obviously when we post the show to, out there, it's going to say the complete trashing of the H.A. Miller doc, and we'll get people to go, what? And of course, then the believers will watch. So, and then they may chortle in or they make contact. And I'm also thinking about doing another Linda Newton Perry video, which I haven't done in years, and I haven't dropped one on the new channel yet, but it may be time to just do an overall view of Bigfoot Ballyhoo and just plop it out.
I mean, usually when they get into the Hall of Shame, that's pretty much a done deal. You don't get that by being an accurate, truthful person. You get into the Hall of Shame by doing shameful hoaxes.
I would, what? I may just post that on the Facebook Miller site. Yeah, when the show gets done tonight, I'm going to post it on the Facebook Miller site. Let them see that. But who runs the Facebook Miller site? Does anybody know?
I don't know. I don't really get on Facebook that often. Just once a week to sign into the show, and then tell everybody thanks for happy birthday wishes.
I'm gonna get off the smacking of the twisted.
I like that PowerPoint. That was good, Steve. It's almost like you've done this before, huh?
Maybe. But yeah, no doubt, quick witty.
Edwards Plateau. Is that in Texas?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it very well could be. I mean, Bigfoot areas are not secrets. I mean, there was a logger and not only we have Edwards Plateau, but we have the forest of Oregon or the Cascades or wherever they found the Bigfoot body, that Jerry Lustin supposedly found. It's not, and that's the thing. Linda is a Bigfoot fanatic. I'm sure she reads up on the topic. She researches somewhat, and then she takes some truth and molds it into what she wants her narrative to be.
Okay. Edwards Plateau. That's around San Antonio and a little west of Austin. So yeah.
The good person to ask that question would be Ken Gerhardt.
Yeah, Ken knows about that.
What's going on with Edwards Plateau?
They have water. Yeah, they have water. They have trees. And usually in Texas, when you get over into West Texas, it really kind of dries up. It's like, okay, wow, there's the desert. It's cool. But Eastern Texas is really, they got a lot of green stuff, a lot of water.
And it can be very disappointing for a lot of people because they say, oh, this may be it. But you have to consider the source. And the funny thing is most people for the Miller doc don't go to Bigfoot Ballyhoo for the source. They go to the Bigfoot forums, or they go to that Facebook page, and you can tell by the Google hits when you type in Miller doc. It doesn't say Bigfoot Ballyhoo first. It says the Bigfoot forums because people are talking about it. So let's put this to rest. If people are talking about it, whether they talked about it a few weeks ago or a few months ago or a couple of years ago, let's put it to rest today. It's 2021. Let the first show of 2021 take another supposed urban legend out of the picture here. Who knows? I mean, she posts on Ballyhoo every other day. I'm sure there's going to be some commentary on this. I may even get an email because every time I break a big story on her, I get an email from her. If I had a lawyer, I would, if I had the money to hire a lawyer, well, I have a lot of money to, ride around in a helicopter and take pictures of the forest and say, oh, you're looking for Bigfoot. The bottom line is that I'm not worried about her because I have enough evidence to embarrass her in court terribly. So,
you don't get sued for speaking the truth.
Mm-mm.
And this is documented. This is not an opinion.
Right. I don't call anybody a hoaxer unless I have the evidence to back it up.
Right.
That's just defamation. And there's been some real cases where it threads the line almost, where they could make an excuse and get away with it. And there's been a case that I was presented last year, I should say, that was one of those cases that, they may be able to. It wasn't really my dog in the fight, and really could, without being in the middle of it, I can see how this could turn out to be just a total cabal, which I think it did. And I didn't want to put myself on the hook for calling somebody a hoaxer if there was a legitimate explanation to it. Even though it looked pretty convincing, it becomes a he said, she said type of thing. Yeah. And so you have to be very careful about calling somebody hoaxer. There are some people that'll call people hoaxers without batting an eye. And And I am, I give people the benefit of the doubt. I do my due diligence. I do my investigation, and I'm not quick to just put it out there. Oh, it's a hoax. Well, let me look at it. Let me take a look at it. Let me run it. Let me see what's going on. Sometimes there's a misidentification or pareidolia in pictures and stuff like that, and that's easy to point out. Sometimes the video is so bad, like the Nobby video. Years ago, I did Thomas Byers, the Nobby video. He made it to the Hall of Shame because he was trying to make a name for himself. He has since disappeared off the scope of the earth, but that's good. There was a case where the video was so bad, Bigfoot actually turned and waved at the car. And and then I find out that he actually started his Nobby Lives website, a month before his alleged video. So
Right.
you knew he was planning this big thing to come into the world and stuff like that.
Yep.
And Nani, you are quite right. Hoaxers ruin it for the real, truthful researchers. And the reason being is why do you think that? Let me ask a question. Why do you think hoaxers ruin it for the real, truthful researchers? And I'm going to tell you my answer, but if folks in the chat want to give their reason why they think hoaxers ruin it for us in the research world.
I know why for me.
Well, Jerry, that's what I've seen too, but he's getting zero coverage from me and anybody else, I think, at this point.
Yep.
We just ignore him. He'll go away if you ignore him. We're not going to, yeah, whatever, Rick. Goodbye. We don't care. Well, I got this evidence. I don't care. It's not real. And I don't need a reason. I don't need a reason to say it's not real. I've got reasons in 2008 and 2013 why it's not real. Have a nice day. Yeah. That's my words to him. Uh-oh. Chris has almost got sued for telling the truth about
Mick.
his meatloaf.
Yeah. Oh, Mick, that meatloaf again.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I never had a bad meatloaf.
Well, naughty, because no one will believe anyone who has real evidence. Anybody else? He said that question. Grasshopper. Hey, Alan, what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's Grasshopper. Okay, Alan. I get names all mixed up sometimes. But yeah, Graz. Yeah, it gives me pareidolia. Okay, David, you may think so too. That's a good answer. Anybody else want to pipe in why they think hoaxers hurt for us? And I'm going to tell you the exact reason why.
And for the podcast, David said credibility is the currency in the Bigfoot community, and hoaxers take it away from all the legit people out there. And that makes sense. That's good.
Sense.
But you got to look at it this way too. I mean,
what do you think?
People they're going to look to others for the information.
What do you think? Why do you think hoaxers hurt Bigfoot research?
Well, I think they hurt it. To me personally, it's a waste of my time, and that's why when I read something and I determine it quickly, well, this is crap. This is made up. This, then I go look somewhere else for something. Right. But the time I spent reading about this nonsense is wasted, and you can never get that back. Once you've spent your time on something, 5 minutes reading, 10 minutes reading, whatever, you can't get it back. It's gone forever.
Frank says hoaxers destroy any legitimate evidence real researchers find. Okay, so I'm gonna give you my thoughts. Chris, you said they waste. Okay, OT says. Come on. Sorry, the. I have lost the ability to put comments right now. I don't know what happened there, but I'll report that later. Oh, there he is. Yeah, finally. OT said legit evidence is often the same pot as fake evidence, possibly. We have Quick Witty. We have called out Scott Carpenter. When we did the Patterson Gimlin massacre hoax, or the massacre theory. Remember that show? The MK Davis, and we called out Scott Carpenter on that one too. So here's what I think. You said, Chris, that it wastes our time. I feel as a researcher, any time spent looking at something, hoax, not misidentification, is time spent at what we love to do. To me, closing a case as a hoax is just as gratifying as closing a case as a misidentification, or if something is, hey, could be the real thing.
Right.
When they get the real thing, you get the real excitement, but you also get the real anxiety because when you say something is real, people are going to come at you.
Right.
Just like when you say something is fake, people are going to come at you.
Well, when I'm doing research online by looking, I have my notes, which I keep are personal and private. And when I read information that's posted about a sighting somewhere or, a story like the H.A. Miller story, I look for like behaviors mentioned and things like that. And I compare notes. And, if the story is all a bunch of crap to begin with, then I've just wasted that time because there's no legitimate information there for me to compare mine with. And I know what I've got is legitimate.
Yeah.
And,
Reba goes, right. I spent a lot. Yeah, it's garbage. It's
But MK's theory though, that's not a hoax. It's his true belief.
Oh, we had to talk about Scott Carpenter and why does he always have pictures behind him? Never. Yeah. Anyway, no. Here's my take on hoaxers. Hoaxers like a Lyndon Newton Perry, like Todd Standing, like even sometimes a Rick Dyer. I think where they hurt the community and us as individual Bigfoot researchers is that there are many people that get into research or enthusiasts that join all these Bigfoot groups, and then they have these half-conceived notions based on hoaxes. Hoaxes by Todd Standing, hoaxes by Lyndon Newton Perry in the Miller doc, hoaxes like the Melba Ketchum DNA thing, which I feel is a hoax, true, just by the way she released and the disingenuous things she did. Oh, we got published. You own the journal. Like you were going to get away with that with the real world media. And of course, then it becomes everything. It's a conspiracy against me. And that's the way hoaxers do things. They always try to pass the buck. And
they
when it's a conspiracy, they say it's science won't listen to me. It's they covered it up. The Men in Black took my body, I don't know. They just sent me the stuff and I put it out there. Biscardi's used that with the Stagecoach Nevada thing afterwards. Well, we were told that. Well, no, Biscardi, you said right on public radio, we have scientists looking at it. No, you don't. What you should have said is allegedly there are scientists looking at it.
Yeah.
No, you said we have scientists looking at it. Big difference.
And also, it hurts us genuinely when the media does a story on Bigfoot and they cover some outrageous, unbelievable thing, or they bring it up, and they equate everyone who believes or knows that Bigfoot is real because they've seen one, but also believes what they're talking about in this story, which would be something ridiculous. Like, they're doing a story on a report that Bigfoot landed and got out of a UFO and stole a cow, and they kind of make everyone try to believe that just as long as you believe in Bigfoot, then you believe that actually happened.
Right.
When most of us really know that that's just garbage, Yeah.
So that's the real issue is you get into these chats with people and they say, well, Bigfoot, Bigfoot XYZ. And they Todd Standing had it. Whoa. You got to throw that stuff out. How you want, people ask, do you believe Todd Standing stuff is real? I mean, do research on me. How about that? Sometimes it gets tiring, but you always try to guide the new people in town.
And it never fails. It's a disservice to the new people when they read about these old hoaxes and they don't know that they've been debunked, and they're thinking, "Oh, wow, this is all real," Oh, you better not. Imagine the
ugly kids they would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then again, yeah, I love it when they say it's something just sent to them. Shame on them for pushing rumors as fact. The fact is, you can use that excuse once or twice. You would think that if you got sent a hoax the first time, the next time you'd be a little wise about it. So that's why I don't believe Linda Newton Perry at all is being sent these hoaxes. They're all very consistent. They all line up in the same modus operandi that she's operated in the past. She always has these sock bloggers that, well, KS or MK or IM or Sophia says, or, hey, Lori, can you tell me? Lori comes in. And these are all people without last names that don't have email addresses.
Mystery commenters.
The mystery commenters. And just because they have a first name, or they say they're somebody without an email address or any confirmation of that, it's just a story. Just a story.
Yeah.
And
you're right, Walt. Walt says quit smoking. Yeah, that's right.
It's on my agenda. Just not this week. I got to take care of a few things before that. Trust me. Yep, there you go. Reba's like, exactly.
Bigfoot master. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. And the other thing too is, there when the theory of the massacre comes up, I've seen Bob Gimlin talk on that, and he's dead on. He's dead straight serious about that. It never happened. Grasshopper says he doesn't believe himself on the internet, let alone anybody else.
That's a good point of view. Be skeptical. That's right. Always be skeptical.
So I think you look at this, and it's a damn shame that this ever gained traction. Tom said, all right. Oh, hey, any question is fair in the chat room there, Tom.
Yeah.
Off topic, Bigfoot in your neck of the woods, they migrate or have like a local territory. They have a local territory, but then they migrate in the winter, I believe, to another territory over in Vermont where there's deciduous pine. See, with the area where I have a lot of activity, there's a lot of oak, maple, birch, which all lose their leaves during the wintertime. I believe they move when the leaves start to turn, they start getting up and they start moving towards where the pine is in Vermont. And that's why Whitehall, New York gets so many sightings, especially, September through December, they get a lot of these sightings. Then when the snow starts hitting the ground, they all kind of waffle off. So I really think
there's a reason for that too.
I got the answer for that one, Nick. It's boxer briefs.
There you go. The best of both worlds.
Yep. No, actually, Nani, the ones from the Whitehall area, I believe, all migrate into the Green Mountain National Forest over in Vermont because their sightings seem to pick up more in the wintertime over there.
Yeah.
Though they do have sightings in the fall, summer months as well. And I think that's because pine offers a food source. It offers cover from the snow. Because they don't drop their needles, all at once. They're not barren trees. They always have their green on them. So,
if all other food sources fail, there are pines, which is not much of a food source. But if you got a long gut, you can handle that. You can digest that. And we think they may have a long gut.
Canvas boxers when camping, so you'll stay away.
Ooh, I don't know.
A lot of chafing.
I don't know. With ticks, boxers are not good with ticks.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and the Catskills, I'm pretty sure, have their fair share of pine as well. From what I recall, but yeah, do Sasquatch migrate? Well, primate studies show that primates will migrate depending on food source, weather conditions, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like you can take a look at the Native Americans who they had their summer homes and winter homes because they followed where the food moved, and as well as they had more cover.
I don't think they go from Ontario to Miami.
Look at modern day Homo sapiens who migrate to Florida and Arizona or Nevada when they get older and they can't take the weather. They migrate to other places. You laugh, but it's true. Lot of
that's right.
Older people migrate to the warmer territories as they get older. So that's not as funny as that may be, which it is. I think it was Cliff Clavin who said Florida is the Ophionoki word where the old people go and sweat. But
dude, it is warm in Florida too. You would probably die, Steve, being a native New Yorker there. You go to Florida right now, you'd probably have a heat stroke. They don't know what cold weather is, dude. And I was watching. It's been back in 2009.
And I agree with that too. Grasshopper. That's very common with primates. They'll leave the family circle and they'll move to make their own way in life. They'll find their own troop or they'll find their own pod or whatever you want to call it.
Young males probably migrate to start a new family. That makes sense.
Yep, it sure does.
If not, you have a lot of inbreeding and weird stuff. And
here's why are Bigfoot and aggressive? More aggressive. Well, I don't know if they are. I think there's been aggressive sightings in a lot of different places. Look at Fouke, Arkansas. Well, it wasn't so much aggressive as it was bold. So are you talking aggressive or bold? I mean, if they're, getting bold and walking into places where people live, on porches and stuff like that, that's bold. But we've had cases like that in Vermont. We've had cases like that in Arkansas. We've had cases like that in Texas. So you have to kind of interpret what the behavior is and why the behavior is happening. Incursions on our own territories like deer lockers and houses and stuff like that. It may be particular because there's a food shortage. You would find that kind of behavior in bears as well, where all of a sudden bears are coming into suburban neighborhoods to raid garbage cans because their food sources run low.
Yeah,
it could be also on because of a drought condition that it's so dry where they are. They're in search of water, or drinkable water. Those are some of the things that may happen.
The most common reports I can think of when it talks about Sasquatches with a bad attitude would be the Fouke, Arkansas area, and also places in Alabama.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Facebook tonight, but I am wondering. We are streaming, are we not? I'm going to check right now, because no, we are not streaming anymore.
Well, okay. New Year glitch, great.
Yeah, well, so that
everybody's on YouTube. We still got our YouTube folks here.
Yeah, right? I don't know why people are not.
Stream's not live on Facebook, maybe. Well, we appreciate you YouTubers.
Oh, Facebook did.
Okay.
Oh, I see what's going on. For some reason, we're broadcasting on the Squatch-D TV page, not the Squatch Detective page.
Okay.
And that's a damn shame.
Hey, Steve, could you bring the OT's question up there? He's got a good question for you.
Huh.
Click or quit. Oh, there it is. Steve, serious question. Have you ever heard of any animal which announces itself? Never when it was just one person, only when multiple people were around. This was in the middle of the night. Never. I think that was continued, maybe. I don't know. I don't see another one.
Never heard anything like it.
Oh, okay. Okay, there it is. Never heard anything like it.
It depends. Yeah, if I've heard a deer huff when a bunch of us were walking by. That was happened in Minnesota. We're all standing in the road. All of a sudden, we hear, and we spin our night vision around, and about 30 feet away, there's a buck.
Yeah.
So I think that certain animals will announce themselves to either scare off or, if they're not sure, or sometimes they do it. I mean, I've seen a possum spin around and hiss at a bunch of people.
Yeah.
So is it possible? Yes. I won't say never.
The deer hunters out there will be able to tell you, probably a lot of them from firsthand experience, that a doe, if she can't see you very well, will stomp the ground with her hoof and blow, trying to get a reaction, because she sees something. She sees you, but she's not sure what you are, and she tries to get you to react by stomping the ground and blowing. And if you move, they're gone.
And truthfully, if you're quiet and a Sasquatch doesn't know anybody's there, it may throw a rock to get a test.
Maybe, yeah.
Throw a rock. Okay, people are moving. Something's there. So up, and Nani says, I heard a big ass moose do it late at night. Yeah. Nani, I heard that moose a few years ago out here. It almost sounds like an elk. It's kind of funny.
I've never heard a moose in the wild. We don't have any here.
And quick witty, without any real evidence, I can't say that for sure. That Squatches have killed people in Texas before. I've heard of it, but why the cover up? I don't know. Not quite sure. Yeah, and Nani, that's where I live. Yeah, so we do have a moose crossing sign within like 6 or 7 miles of where I live. And
well, you'll find a lot of Bigfoot stories in the South where there were reportedly human deaths involved with the interaction with a creature. And
yeah, absolutely.
But it could be a cool story, bro.
It's just so interesting, their behavior, and remember, their behavior is based on curiosity a lot when it relates to us. Yeah. If there are people getting killed, I don't think it's because they're prey. I think it's because they've done something really stupid. Well, and quick witty, I'm sure there is a video of somebody talking about it, but the veracity is in the proof. We can say, okay, yeah, Tack, I haven't either. I've heard it once. Like I said, I've heard it once in 3 years, the moose, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, heard it. And there's moose crossing signs up by Lake Desolation. So, it's, how should I say this? I'd like to see more proof about it. I still got to look at that case with the kid down in Tennessee. That's very interesting stuff too. Where the kid went missing and was seen, by a couple, apparently somebody in a red shirt being carried up by a hairy man.
Right.
So that's very, very interesting.
Yeah, I think what got me about that report was at that time they didn't know there had been a missing child and what the child would have been wearing either when they reported this. So it's interesting. That was a good one. It is a good one.
I just, it's just amazing. There's so many facets to this mystery, and with the one that we can all agree on, the hoaxing is not one of the good facets. But
nope,
we have to, like you say, you have this hodgepodge, and you have to, move. You have to move the grass to get to the path. And that happens. And another hunter safety or any kind of safety thing is the moose is the last thing I would want to encounter in the woods, because a bear at least has some brains to it. A moose will just go after you, and a moose is a lot bigger than a bear. So no matter how you say
huge.
Yeah, he's like talking about a 2-ton animal, a 1-ton animal with hooves and antlers and can No, thank you. I'll take seeing a bear any day. A black bear anyway. It's a black bear you can scare away, but
they're like, well, the first time I saw one stuffed in a museum, and I was like, oh my God, it's like a horse, but it's like taller than a horse. And
that's pretty funny. Seen Sasquatch twice, a bear once in BC, but yet to see a moose. Disappointed. I've actually saw 2 moose. And the funny thing is the second moose I saw, I only saw his hindquarters. I saw he was feeding on some grass up on a ledge near the Northway, and I was going up to Plattsburgh at the time, and all of a sudden I see this big bony butt. You can tell the bony butt of a moose, and I'm like, that's a moose, because you can see it wasn't a horse.
Man, I would like to see one, and I would like if they would introduce those things into Kentucky. I think they would do good.
You guys would probably make a dish out of them.
Oh yeah, I would eat one. No, definitely. I mean, dude, if you shoot one moose, you're gonna fill up 2 small freezers of meat. And I used to watch those shows about Alaska.
That's funny. Frank says the only moose I want to see is a chocolate one. That's funny. My ex-wife made a chocolate moose once. I got an antler caught in my throat. Anyway,
but those guys in Alaska, man, they'll shoot a moose and put it in the freezer, and then they're done. Man, they don't got to buy meat for the winter. They're good shape. Good till next year.
Moose in running season, the most dangerous animal in walks North America. That's right.
I would think so. Yeah.
There's been a significant number of disappearances in the Cascades, but the woods are a dangerous place. I say that very often. I was on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and somebody asked, well, if you want to get into Bigfooting, well, you got to think about what environment you're going into. You got deadfall, snakes, rocks, deadly bugs, deadly plants. You got all kinds of stuff out there. If you don't tread carefully, you're going to find yourself in a world of hurt real quick. So, but anyway, I think we have talked this subject out tonight. So I think it's time to stay tonight. We've been here an hour and 45 minutes, and we'll be coming to you next week live again. My apologies to the Facebook crew. I don't know why this went on the other page. Probably a wrong click. I'm going to fix that. But on behalf of all of us here at Squatch-D TV, we want to make sure that everybody has a safe and healthy week. And Chris, you want to do your thing about the old?
Well, if anybody watching us on YouTube, it's the first time. If you hadn't already, please, hit the like and subscribe button. Ring the notification bell. It helps with our algorithm. It picks us up, and we can do more things with the show. So we appreciate it. We appreciate all our listeners. Thank y'all for spending the evening with us.
Yes, sir.
Good to see everybody.
And on behalf of me, again, have a happy and safe week. God bless. And of course, keep on squatching. We'll all catch you next week, Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. This is Steve Kulls signing off.
Folks, you've been watching Squatch-D TV. Join us each week, Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, for the latest on the Bigfoot mystery. As always, we thank you for being our loyal viewers and encourage all to subscribe to our YouTube page at youtube.com/Steve Kulls. As always, have a great week. Stay safe. God bless. And keep on squatching.